This is Sam Madani, and in 2019, he quit his job in investment banking to build a canned espresso martini company called Madani.
We met with so many different manufacturers, people who laughed at us in the face, told us, you know that a million people would have done this before you two guys. As soon as we launched, COVID hit. So our first entry into market was we were surviving basically for a while. People just were having a hard time finding Madani.
The business had successfully launched, but the team couldn't quite figure out how to get noticed on crowded store shelves. Until one day, Sam's co-founder Amin overheard someone talking about Madani in a bar.
Hey, can I get you a Madani? And she goes, what's a Madani? She goes, oh, you haven't tried it yet? It's a skinny espresso martini.
This led to a shift in packaging that changed everything. This is the story of how Sam Madani quit his job and in 5 years built a canned espresso martini company that is now sold in top retailers across California and earned him and his co-founder Amin a spot on the prestigious Forbes 30 Under 30 list. I'm Mark Novikov, and this is the Founders Journal. Sam grew up in a family of entrepreneurs, but it wasn't always easy. His parents had to fight to even make it into the United States.
I am the living, breathing American dream. Both my parents fled Iran after the revolution. My dad had to take a series of really, really life-threatening steps to get out of Iran. My mom was in trouble. She would get herself in trouble for nothing, getting arrested because they would just arrest people back then. Fled to Turkey, poured buckets of water over her head when she didn't have a shower. My parents came to the US. Both of them became entrepreneurs. I always think that's such a crazy detail of the story because you'd think these people who came from so much uncertainty would want a super stable path, but evidently not for them. They wanted to create businesses. My mom, before she was an entrepreneur, was working at a gas station behind bulletproof glass to put herself through college. And when she sold her company that same year, she was on the cover of Forbes Online. There is so much that I'm thankful for. I wake up every day extremely thankful. So when you think of me, I really am the American dream. The idea of Madani came super organically. It was us coming home these Fridays after work, wanting to make a little drink before we went out and wanted to have some caffeine before we went out. We always started making this drink for our friends. And what was really important to us was that the drink wasn't just good, it was amazing. It was mind-blowing. It was something that was really craveable, something people started to ask for. So we said, okay, we should can this thing. This is the business we should throw ourselves into. And I remember I was coming back from my old job, my banking job one night, and I was in the back of a cab, and I called my mom, and my mom, from a place of love, has very lovingly told me that my other business ideas, she was like, this isn't the one, this isn't the one, this isn't the one. So when I called her and told her about Madani, I remember she paused and she was like, wait, this is it. She's like, if you do this, I have your back, 100%, go do this. So Amin and I, we got the product in a place where our friends loved it. So of course we quit our jobs, let's bring this thing to market. And that's when we learned one of our really, really important lessons, which was there's probably a really good reason people aren't doing something. If everyone knows that people love their coffee with alcohol, why aren't there 500 Madanis in the market? We met with so many different manufacturers, people who laughed at us in the face, told us, you know that a million people would have done this before you two guys. They're saying, oh, there's these mega corporations, they can just launch this product. Why would a manufacturer take a bet on you when there are so many people who have more experience who they would just take a bet on doing themselves? So we were just going around breweries in New York, literally Google Maps brewery. And we would go there and be like, hi, is there a manager here? And they're like, yeah, is everything okay? The manager would come out and we'd tell them our idea and they would be like, what are you doing here? We don't do that at all. We have no manufacturing capacity for anybody else. Half of them were we don't even manufacture our own products at our brewery. I mean, that was a real hit to your confidence to be I thought we could figure this out. We were gonna be in market a couple months from now, and then all of a sudden it took a full year. So going from there to actually getting the product made on shelves we said, okay, who are the manufacturers who can make this product from a literal physical perspective? When you're in a position like that, you have to think okay, the only limitations we have are the laws of physics. So if someone can literally make the product, we can work around all the other pieces. And that's ultimately what we did. We found a facility that could make our product, and ultimately they were the ones who brought us to market. And it was literally, basically as soon as we launched, COVID hit. So our first entry into market was we were surviving basically for a while until really 2022, as COVID regulations became a thing of the past. We got to build a lot more of the business that we'd envisioned from the start.
After surviving COVID and getting the product into stores, Sam's customers began flooding his DMs with a strange problem.
People started DMing us on Instagram and saying, hey, Bomani is sold out at my local Whole Foods, for example. And we would be like, oh my gosh, what happened? How did that happen? So you go and you check the reports, okay? The reports show that this specific Whole Foods did receive a delivery today. So it can't be sold out. Did the staff not put it on the shelf? So you call the store, and if it's relatively close, and even if it's an hour away, you can go drive there and you can say, hey, where is it? And we'd find it on the shelf. And this happened a couple times. We started realizing that we would get these DMs every time there was a reset. So retailers every so often reset their shelves to kind of move things around. So they moved Bomani around, and every time that would happen, we'd get a spike in these types of messages where people just were having a hard time finding Bomani. So we were like, wait, people aren't saying they don't like the packaging because they do like the packaging, but they don't know that it's just not catching their eye. The old packaging was all black. It was very sleek. It was really good looking, but it was very sleek and had very small type font that was chic, and people were not being able to find it. So we said, okay, we're gonna make iterations here and we're gonna really be dramatic about this change. So we love playing with the idea of stay electric, we electrify life celebrated moments. So we did the disco ball packaging and originally referred to it as a cold brew coffee cocktail. But cold brew coffee cocktail is a lot of words. So what happened was my co-founder Amin was at a bar here in LA and overheard a girl offer her friend a Bomani. Hey, can I get you a Bomani? And she goes, what's a Bomani? And she goes, oh, you haven't tried it yet? It's a skinny espresso martini. Amin hears that and immediately calls me. And he goes, wait, I think people are calling Bomani a skinny espresso martini. And I was like, I love the sound of that. Let's figure out how can we actually test this on shelves? So we split our retailers 50-50 for one of the chains that we're in, and half of them had cold brew coffee cocktail, the other half had skinny espresso martini. And for the record, this was already stores that we were doing really well in. So we didn't want to make the change unless we saw a 20 to 25% lift on a same store sales basis. So the goal was 20 to 25% over 12 weeks. And in reality, within 4 weeks, we were up 257%. And within 6 weeks, we were up 473%. It was almost 6 to 1. So total no-brainer to get this packaging on shelves.
With the new packaging, the business was now taking off. So I decided to ask Sam what his 3 secrets to success are for anyone to start a CPG brand.
I think that CPG can be a very sexy space outside looking in. Products are sexy, brands are sexy. It's really cool for people to be able to if you go tell someone that you have an engineering job, that's a really respectable career, that you can't show it off at a party. That is the upside of CPG that a lot of people see is, oh, if I make, chips or whatever, you can bring that to the party. People can be excited about that. That's the rewarding part of it, but that's not the fundamental part of what CPG is. CPG is a very roll your sleeves up, do the dirty work type of business. We're gonna have to all get together at my house tomorrow to hand pack a bunch of our own 4-packs because there are so many hyper important fundamentals. So the first one starts with product. I see people very often underinvest in the quality of product. People think, okay, I'm gonna build a brand around it and it's gonna work. And look, Liquid Death is maybe the only brand I've ever seen that they've made that work. The brand itself is just so amazing. Unless you have that type of branding expertise and you think that that really is a path that you believe is the right one for you, don't just bank on branding. Make the product itself really, 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 really awesome. From there, if you believe you have a good product, you have to present it well. So don't make the packaging that you like. Don't even make the packaging that the customer necessarily just appreciates. Make sure that you get the packaging that is effective. Create packaging that is effective, that customers can find on shelves, that customers can go buy. From there, discipline yourself to create passionate customers by intentionally limiting your distribution. That's really, really hard for founders to do because immediately, as soon as you start seeing some level of success, people from everywhere will reach out to you. You might get people in states thousands of miles away telling you they want to carry it at their liquor stores. And that's so exciting as a founder, and it's a mistake we've made, it's a mistake every founder's made, is saying, okay, wow, if people are that fired up about our product 3,000 miles away, let's figure out a way to get that to them. You don't have to. Your responsibility is to make sure that you actually build a playbook to create those passionate customers. Prove that case in 10 stores, and then 20 stores, and then 50 stores, and then scale that from there and understand your playbook rather than just go out to everyone.
That was Sam Madani, co-founder of Bomani. If you're interested, Bomani can be found in Whole Foods across California, as well as some Bevmos, Ralph's, and Total Wines. Thanks for listening to the first episode of the Founders Journal.
I think you just know, like, okay, I always tell our team, be Rambo. Have you ever watched the Rambo movies?
Yeah.
Like the 80s movies or whatever? Every movie, honestly, is the same story. Rambo wins at the end. He goes through all this shit, and then he survives. So, like, the second you turn on a Rambo movie, you know how the movie ends. You don't know how Rambo gets there. You have no idea what the path is, but Rambo wins at the end somehow. So I'm always like, okay, be Rambo. I know how this ends. I know that this ends with us getting on the shelf. I know that if we're going to go to a retailer meeting, I know this ends with us getting more stores. Like, whatever the end of that project is, visualize it at the beginning and just relentlessly figure out how to get there. Like I said, you'll find those levers, those gifts from the universe. And when you find those levers, just hammer, 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 and figure out a way to propel yourself there. But be Rambo. In your head, you got to be Rambo. You got to know that at the end of this works.